10 years ago, our world changed forever. Mysterious portals, we call them gates, tore open the fabric of reality, connecting our world to realms filled with monsters. But with this new threat came a new evolution. Certain humans awakened, granted supernatural abilities. We call them hunters. They are our shield, our sword against the darkness that spills from these otherworldly dungeons. Every day, across the globe, news reports flash with updates. Another gate has opened. A rank C rank, sometimes even the dreaded S rank. But today, it's a D rank gate, just outside the city. For the elite guilds, it's a routine mission, a quick sweep. But for others, it's a lifeline. And among those preparing to enter is a young man named Arjun. He's known as the world's weakest hunter, his power barely registering. But what he lacks in strength, he more than makes up for in sheer unbreakable determination. Inside the bustling Hunter Guild base, the air hums with nervous energy. The metallic click and clack of gear being checked and double-checked. Guild leader Ravi stands before his team, his voice steady and calm, cutting through the chatter. All right, team, listen up. The mission is simple. A D-rank gate, standard procedure. It's me, Lavanya, Arjun, Vikram and Rekha. We stay focused, we finish fast, and most importantly, we all come back alive. Got it? Arjun forces a small, hopeful smile. Hey, maybe this will be the one where my luck finally kicks in, and I do end up in the infirmary. Lavanya, checking the edge of her dagger, lets out a warm laugh. You always sell yourself short, Arjun. You might doubt your strength. But your heart is the strongest thing in this room, and we all know it. Bare eyes meet for a moment, an unspoken bond of camaraderie shared between them and the rest of the team as they finish their preparations. Their faces a mixture of resolve and anxiety. The time has come. Standing before the massive, shimmering blue portal, the air crackles with raw energy. The gate swirls like a misty vortex, a doorway to the unknown. Whoosh. With a deep, resonant whoosh, the entrance stabilizes. Every gate is a gamble, a pocket dimension with its own rules, its own dangers. Inside, survival is the only test that matters. As the team steps through, the familiar world vanishes behind them. Ravi is the first to speak, his voice tight. Stay sharp, everyone. Something about this place feels colder than usual. A strange silence hangs in the air, heavier than any they've experienced in a D-rank dungeon before. Arjun, trailing at the back, feels a prickle of unease crawl up his spine, a gut feeling that something is terribly wrong. He murmurs to himself, his breath fogging in the frigid air. Spore. Why does this one feel so different? The gate's light seals shut behind them, plunging them into the eerie twilight of the monster realm. They are alone, and the hunt has just begun. Cave ambience, with dripping water and distant echoes. Careful now. A single torch flame cuts through the inky blackness, revealing the damp, glistening walls of an ancient cave. The air is heavy, cold, and still. Too still. Suddenly, a low, guttural growl echoes from the darkness just beyond the torchlight, bouncing off the stone walls and sending a shiver down your spine. Watch out. Left side. Lavanya's voice is sharp, a desperate warning cutting through the silence. Before anyone can react, monstrous shapes leap from the shadows. They are wolves, but not made of flesh and blood. They are shifting, coalescing darkness, with eyes that burn like malevolent embers. Time seems to stretch and warp as they descend upon the group, fangs bared in a silent, terrifying snarl. All right, Arjun says, his voice steady despite the chaos. This one's mine. The glint of steel follows his words as he draws his sword, its polished surface catching the torchlight in a brilliant flash. The sound of metal on something else ... rings out. A clang, a vicious slash, and a roar that isn't quite animal fills the cavern. The man everyone called weak, the one they always protected, was now fighting back with a ferocity born of pure, unbridled instinct. Each parry, each strike, was a testament to a strength he never knew he possessed. The shadow wolves are relentless, a tide of darkness threatening to overwhelm them. We need a safe zone fast or we're done, Ravi gasps, breathless from the fight, his eyes wide with panic. Spotting an opening, a larger passage just ahead, they make a break for it. They scramble over loose rocks and through the narrow passage, the snarls of the shadow creatures echoing right behind them. They burst through the opening and into a chamber so vast it steals their breath. It's a huge circular hall made of polished stone, the walls and ceiling covered in intricate carvings that pulse with a soft, ethereal blue-green light. It's beautiful and eerily silent. As they catch their breath, their relief is short-lived. This room isn't on the map. What is this place? Rekka whispers, her voice filled with awe and suspicion as she traces one of the glowing lines with her finger. The air here is different, ancient and heavy with unspoken power. Looks like some ancient shrine. Arjun muses, his sword still held at the ready as he scans the chamber. Rows upon rows of life-size statues, carved in poses of silent worship, kneel in perfect formation. They all face a single imposing throne at the far end of the hall. But there's no one here. Then, with a deafening boom that shakes the very foundation of the hall, a massive stone door slams shut behind them, plunging them into near-complete darkness, save for the faint glow of the carvings. The sound of grinding stone echoes as bolts slide into place. Ravi, the door's locked. Lafanya yells, her voice laced with rising panic as she and Ravi push against the immovable stone slab. They were trapped in. As that horrifying realization settled in, they noticed they were no longer alone. A pinprick of light appears in the darkness. Then another and another. One by one, the eyes of each and every stone statue in the hall begin to glow with a sinister crimson light. The room itself was awakening, and it's silent. Stone guardians were now watching their every move. What happens next?
The trial begins not with a challenge, but with a command. From the stone deity, a voice like grinding mountains echoes through the hall. The divine rules begin. First rule, bow before me, or perish. Vikram, ever the defiant one, scoffs. Is this some kind of game? We're not bowing. He stands tall, a symbol of rebellion. But the stone does not argue. The statue, once inert, moves with impossible speed, a sickening crack, and Vikram is gone, struck down in an instant. The air freezes. This isn't a game, it's an execution. Panic erupts, but one voice cuts through the chaos. Bow down, everyone, now. It's real. It's Arjun for the first time. He isn't following. He's leading. Not for glory, not for power, but for the most basic, primal instinct, survival. That day, Arjun took command, his voice a lifeline in a sea of terror. The trials that follow are a brutal symphony of blood, silence, and fear. One by one, they fall, their screams swallowed by the ancient stone. The hall, once filled with hopefuls, becomes a tomb for the proud and the slow. The rules are absolute, and the price for failure is death. Soon only a handful remain, their spirits shattered, their bodies trembling on the edge of collapse. Arjun is on his knees, half-conscious, the sole survivor before the colossal, silent statue. The weight of it all crashes down on him. Tears stream down his face, mixing with the dust and blood. I didn't come here to die. He whispers, his voice raw with despair. I came to become strong. He slams his fist against the cold floor, a final act of defiance against his own weakness. And then something changes. The statue, the bringer of death, lowers its massive hand. A black light, dark as the void, flows from its fingertips and envelops Arjun completely. A sound, impossibly clear, chimes in his mind. Asterisk, ding. Asterisk words of light burn themselves into his vision. System activated. Player Arjun selected. A new quest appears before him. Survive the trial of shadows. In that moment, everything shifts. The pain, the fear, the grief, it all solidifies into something new, something powerful. The legend of a new kind of hunter had just begun. Arjun was no longer just a boy who got lucky. He had been chosen. He had become the vessel of the shadow system. The cave begins to tremble and groan, the very foundations of the trial site collapsing. Light fades as massive stones fall, sealing the tomb. In the encroaching darkness, a distant voice calls out, a thread of hope from the world he left behind. Arjun, did you survive? From the rubble, a weak smile touches his lips. I did, he rasps, his voice changed harder. From now on, my fear itself is my weapon. This wasn't an end. It was a birth. The birth of the shadow hunter Arjun. His story is only just beginning. Thank you so much for watching this epic beginning. If you're as excited as I am to see where Arjun's journey goes next, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss a single moment of the adventure. We'll see you in the next chapter.